Howdy. How's everyone doing?
This man said howdy. Chat.
And we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Mecca of Banter. I had to switch it up on you boys. Been doing the same thing over and over again. But let's get into it. We have a jam-packed episode today. Some people were, I was thinking, I was a little nervous. Premier League's over. All these leagues are over. I was like, where are we going to get all this soccer content? And boy, was I wrong.
Unreal month of soccer.
Unbelievable month of soccer. As we've talked about in previous episodes, it was the Euros and the Copa America. Both of those tournaments have come to a close, and we have winners in both.
Let's just
Butch,
get it out.
I want to give you the honors of saying who won the Copa America.
Chat.
Chat.
Guys, we've waited 15 years of our life to watch the GOAT.
3 finals
The
losses.
GOAT.
Lionel Messi just solidified GOAT status by winning his first international trophy, the Copa America, with his beloved Argentina. And what a way to win it against Brazil in Brazil's home stadium where they haven't lost a competitive match in 71 years.
Insane.
Come on, man.
Hype him up.
I mean, what? Well, we watched the game. It was one of the scrappiest.
Oh, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it sometime in the podcast. The difference between the Copa and the Euros is insane.
Oh, my God.
They're so scrappy.
It's a war.
Oh, my God.
It is literally a war.
You said it perfectly in the Mecca text message. Grit. That word describes it perfectly. Just, they will go into any tackle. Don't care if they're breaking your legs because they're trying to win it.
Yeah, Otamendi.
And the two countries,
my word.
and they hate each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes it even like 10 times more. Like you watch the Euros, yeah, these teams want to win, but like with the Copas, it's like there's bad blood every time they play, like regardless of the game.
Yeah, but so for people that don't know, Argentina beat Brazil in the final of the Copa America, 1-0. I thought it was finals are always crazy for me because like you don't get as much beautiful soccer, I think, because it's so high intensity and so much pressure on the game. I think it's a little sloppy no matter what final it is, but there's definitely moments of brilliance. I think Di Maria.
The finish on that is just
The
one of the most underrated players of all time, in my opinion.
It's funny, and Butch knows this. I've always hated on Di Maria for the longest time.
Gets it done.
But every time I have, he's done something to justify his case. So I thought it was a great finish, and props to him. He won Lionel Messi. Well,
to be fair, the final, I mean, Messi had one of the most incredible tournaments of all time.
Absolutely.
To be fair, the final was Messi's worst game he played the entire
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
But
and you know what was crazy? I still thought
he played okay,
he
but
had an impact.
yeah.
but if we think about it, like the storyline with him in finals has been Messi's played well and his teammates have let him down.
exact
This
opposite.
time it flipped.
Yep.
And it won him his first trophy. So it's like, it gives you goosebumps.
Absolutely.
Because, well, thank God Higuain was on the couch at home, bro. That dude.
didn't
He's
have
in
a
Miami
chance to
watching
ruin
it at
another
club or
Bro,
something, man.
if he would have made the squad, I would have lost it.
Oh my.
But no, Di Maria was phenomenal. The man of the match was Rodrigo de Paul in the middle.
Oh, yes,
Oh
absolutely.
my God.
Just confirmed with Atletico.
Yeah.
That
Big
pass to
signing.
Di Maria was class. Granted, it was a little bit of a mistake from the left back, but he was a warrior in the middle of the field. And I see you already got it pulled up.
Well, first thing I want to say is you were talking about goosebumps, and we were talking about this before we even got on the pod. The reaction to Messi after the game.
Oh my God.
It was the first time I had ever seen someone win a final, and every single teammate ran to
Dude, it seemed like
Messi.
it was like 2 seconds.
Literally.
Everyone
ran to him. Like,
Yeah.
like he didn't score the game winner. He didn't, you know what I mean? But everyone ran to him. It wasn't like he scored the game winner in OT or anything like that.
Yep.
But the passion that they had, and I think they literally won it for him. Like, and it showed in that moment. But Butch was mentioning it. I pulled up this stat, and this has been floating around social media for a little bit, and I think puts the I think the nail in the coffin has been the nail in the coffin for a very long time.
It's never been an argument.
I agree, but for other people. So in the Euros, they have a list of pretty much some of the top statistics, I would say.
Yeah.
So most goals, assists, most shots on goal, most free kicks, most through balls, most chances, most passes, most shots, and most shots on target. And in the Euros, there's a bunch of different people. So Ronaldo had most goals. Zuber had the most assists. Shaqiri had the most shots on goal. Damsgaard had the most free kicks. Pogba had the most through balls. Chances created was Verratti. Passes made in the final third was Pedri. Most shots was Olmo. Mm-hmm. And then most shots on target was Morata. And those exact same stats, if you look at it in the Copa America, are all by one man.
Lionel Messi.
So Lionel Messi is the leader in all those stats in the Copa America. And I think that is outrageous.
He literally just did. I know it's different. It's not the World Cup. But he literally just did what Maradona did in '86. He did it in the Copa.
And
literally.
just the fact that people, like, there's this connotation with, like, Ronaldo won the Golden Boot in the Euros, and this connotation that these guys are getting older. It's like, he's getting older, but he's still the best player in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's by a long shot.
Oh,
and the Copa, yeah, you can make the argument, like, the competition is as high as the Euros. You can make all those arguments. But those games are like wars.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them.
I would love to see Argentina versus Italy. I would love to see that game.
5 of those Copa teams are ranked in the top 20 in the world. It's no walk in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. But that stat alone, Nick, that literally, like, as you said, that makes it. If you are, hey, chat, if you're sitting at home and you're thinking to yourself, anybody's better than Lionel Messi, I want you to go to your doctor and get your head checked right now.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because you're capping.
Big caps. But the Copa America, and I don't even know where I was going to go with what I was just about to say, but I'm interested to see, do you think he plays in the World Cup now with Argentina? Because I know we talked about that if they lost, you thought he was done.
Well, this has been pondering in my head for the last 2 days since he won.
He's playing.
I think he's going to play. I wouldn't be upset if he decides to retire on a high. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if he wants to retire.
You want to talk about a cap, though, but
no,
keep
but
going.
You guys tell me that he's got the monkey off his back.
Yeah?
Like, he can go into this World Cup playing free that he has won that trophy.
No, you're right.
I definitely agree with that, but also you have to think of it as like, oh my gosh, now he's free. Like, he doesn't have to do it again.
I know, but it's like he's getting ready to win the Ballon d'Or.
Oh, he's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
He's going to win that. He's going to go into this next season with Barcelona, and let's just say he stays on pace like the Messi that we know right now. Like, there's no way. Like, the World Cup wouldn't be the same if he wasn't there.
You're right.
Absolutely.
It would not be the same if he wasn't there.
Think of the money as well.
I do think he'll go for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
But I wouldn't be. I just wouldn't be upset if he was like, oh, maybe I'll be done with the national team and I'll focus more on my club ball for the last 3 years. I don't know. I hope he's there.
I think the coolest part, and I know we had to talk about it, was like you see Argentina celebrating, you see the trophy getting lifted, and then all of a sudden you see Neymar creep around.
Absolutely.
And Neymar walks up, and you could see Messi's crying. He gives him a massive hug. And, like, just from Neymar posting about him afterwards, like Patrice Evra, all these players just posting congratulating Messi because of what he means to the sport.
Absolutely.
It's like you want to see him win. Like, everybody in the world knows that he deserves a major trophy, maybe the World Cup or the past Copa. And to see, like, the outreach of just everybody so excited that he finally got it done, like, I was ecstatic. Like, I felt like the USA just won a World Cup watching that. It was unbelievable.
You want to know something I saw on Twitter before I walked in here?
What?
In Argentina, when they came home, Messi got to his house, and people were on his lawn, like, praising him. He came out and signed every T-shirt. If that doesn't tell you how humble he is, and probably one of the most remarkable athletes we'll ever see, he literally signed kids' T-shirts and fans, just because, like, he wanted to give back to his country. Like, that's chills, bro.
I mean, just to be real, I mean, no team with Fred in the lineup is going to be a team with Messi in the lineup.
Yo, Fred.
He had a decent tournament, though. Like, to be fair, he was decent.
And in the final, his first minute, first touch, he gets a yellow.
Oh, I saw that, bro.
Dude,
an awful tackle,
hold up,
too.
bro. Come on, man.
Jesus.
But if we want to stick just a little bit more on the Copa, I will say that Neymar also had a phenomenal tournament.
Absolutely.
Neymar was fantastic.
They're co-players of the tournament.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And he really did carry them through those group stage games. He kind of waned off a little bit in the knockouts, but he was phenomenal. I think he had the most dribbles and
him on the ball is just.
Do you remember that play?
Special.
We were watching the game. Neymar did this thing with his, like, this little elastico, but it was almost impossible for his body
It
to
almost looked like he messed up, but
Yeah.
he didn't.
and his body moved so fast, his shift of weight, and he beat 2 guys. And I looked at Nick, and we looked right at each other, and I go, dude, what the hell just happened?
Well, and then earlier in the game, he's like juggling people in his
That was like the fifth.
defensive
That was like the
third.
fifth
I
minute
know,
of the
I'm
game.
like,
He took the
Jesus.
ball and he flipped it over Messi's
Yeah.
head and brought it down and played a pass.
It was gross.
He's one of those players that I enjoy watching because every time he's on the
Entertainer.
ball, I know
He's an
something
entertainer.
insane's gonna
Showman.
happen. Now, do I think there's critiques of his game that can make him better? That if he didn't show off every time, it would probably benefit his team more? Absolutely. But
It's
he's
just Brazilian.
so
though.
much fun
it's
to watch.
just the Brazilian.
Oh my
got
like,
flair, man.
Yeah.
But so another thing I thought was funny, and this is just a side note for this conversation, was all the memes that I've been seeing of like Neymar in the bus on the way home to PSG and Di Maria chilling in the back with like, Verratti, and they're all just bumping. And he's sitting there driving the bus in the front.
That's
Feel
funny.
bad for him. But okay, I really want to know, besides Brazil and Argentina, I want your opinion on this, Butch. What teams from the Copa were you impressed with?
Colombia.
Colombia?
100%.
Hands down. Colombia, and I will mark that I said this. Like, I remember when we talked about the Copa a few episodes back, I was the one that said, I don't think Colombia's going to do anything. And because they didn't bring James, they left some key players out from past tournaments. They had this kid, Luis Diaz, the kid that scored the goal, Dobes.
Yeah.
And Nick. That dude,
Yeah.
he made the
Against
team of the
Peru.
tournament.
Yeah.
That dude is a future baller, and he's 24 years old, and he plays for Porto.
When's his birthday?
I've never looked at it.
I was about to freak out if you got that on command.
But in the knockout games, he had the goal against Argentina before they lost in penalties, and then he scored 2 here in the third place
Yeah.
game against Peru to win.
What was funny, someone who else impressed me on Colombia is the other goal scorer of that game, Cuadrado. I've always reamed him for multiple
He's
years,
good.
but he played well.
I think he looks
thought, in
good
this
just
tournament.
because he's like
Well, he's quick
the
and-
superstar
yeah,
for
yeah.
that team.
He's
Absolutely.
shifty.
I think the best part about it was seeing Mina miss and Emmy do the little and Emmy do the. We got to mention Emmy too because
Oh,
she was
absolutely.
brilliant in the game before, in the semi and in the final.
I think he is a top 3 goalkeeper in the world
On
right now.
form right now.
On form, absolutely. I think he's incredible, and you're right. I love the reaction and his intensity when he was saving those penalties. He was talking to the guy.
Well, did you see Messi? I saw like the
Yeah.
translation of him yelling. He's sitting there
Stop
saying,
dance.
"Dance now,
Or
dance now."
Yeah, talking shit. Jesus.
Yeah,
You gotta
Emmy
love
was-
that from Messi every once in a
Oh,
while.
yeah. He was hungry, man. This was a different Messi. Like, you could see it in his eyes how bad. I think he knew this was possibly his last final that he might play. And Dope said it last time that, they always got a shot. So if he plays in the World Cup, they always got a shot to go to the final.
Oh, absolutely.
But this could be the last one we see him in. So, like, he knew deep down, he's like, this is it. We got to go for it.
Yeah. And so on the contrary to the question I just had, Dobes, I don't know if you want to butt in about a team that impressed you besides Colombia. Or
I
if you
think
like,
the one team that over the last couple of years has been solid that's kind of on the back end is Chile. Because
yeah.
all that core group of players for them is getting up there. Is getting
Absolutely.
up there in age. The Vidals, the Alexis. Like a couple of years ago, they were dangerous. Like I thought they were a dark horse in basically every tournament they're in.
Yeah.
Copa, World Cup. But with that core group starting to get older, they didn't impress me that much
Yeah.
at all during this. And I thought
Absolutely.
they'd be a lot better than they were.
Yeah. And going off of what you just said, the team that I wasn't impressed with was Uruguay.
Yeah, they didn't do well.
They did not do well at all. Suarez and Cavani weren't really meshing well together. And I was not impressed. And I was like,
No, you're right. You're spot on.
definitely think they should have performed better and gone a little bit farther in the tournament.
I agree. They're always a team that, even in World Cups, they're making quarterfinals.
Oh, yeah.
So like when you get to a Copa, like you're expected if you're Uruguay to get in the semifinals 100%, and they didn't do well.
I think the last thing I want to touch on, like for me at least with the Copa, is just like watching Argentina this year more than any year in the past. You can see how like together they were, and I think a lot of it has to do with for the first time, like you're saying, like Messi showed more leadership. I think with this group than like at least vocally and like that you've seen.
Oh, absolutely.
More than any time I've seen
yeah.
him before. Just from
Completely
like
agree.
in between overtimes, like yelling at players, like just like
Well, Messi has always been a lead by example
Absolutely.
type player, and in this tournament, you're completely right. You can totally. He was yelling at people, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I'll never forget like when he receives criticism in the World Cup, like when you see him get ready to go into overtime, and he's like kind of standing there and not saying anything, and he received criticism from the media and everybody because he's Messi and he's not sitting there riling everybody up. He's never really been that type of player, and for the first time, you can see I don't know if it's maturity or just the fact that he wanted to win a trophy so bad, but more than anything. He was on everybody, and I think it showed in every single player around him's passion and the way they worked.
Also, when he went up to take a PK, holy cow, was I about to shit a brick. I was like, please don't miss. Please don't miss.
Yeah, that would've been
Please don't
bad.
miss.
No, he buried it.
I know. Oh, he absolutely
was
buried
locked
it.
in.
Oh, I had, you know what I mean? But that's
you're
how I
right.
thought it was
No, you're
the
right.
last time, and we all know how that ended.
Mm-hmm.
So, putting a bow on the Copa, Messi's the GOAT. It's undisputed.
7th Ballon d'Or incoming.
7th Ballon
Lock
d'Or
it.
incoming. He's got the international trophy in his cabinet, so now all them haters can piss off.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, moving on.
It's gonna get good, baby.
This
Come
is
on.
about to get interesting
Oh.
because, oh boy, do we have some conversations about this. It is coming, Rome. It is coming, Rome. The Euro finals were this weekend, and England falls to Italy and penalties
At Wembley.
at Wembley.
70,000 people.
70,000 people, and it's coming, Rome. What do we think, boys? I have a lot of hot take, not hot takes, but I have a lot of interesting takes. Not interesting. I'll say it. Southgate needs to be sacked, in my opinion. I know Doves has a different
sacked
opinion.
Is harsh. Sacked is harsh.
I think he should have been sacked before he even got into the locker room.
See,
I just
my thing with this is it's really the first time all tournament that Southgate faced a manager that was superior to him. And what I mean by that is if you look at the first half of that game, you look at the first 20 minutes, it's at Wembley, England's all over them.
Yep, absolutely.
The possession is more in the
Great
favor.
goal.
The possession is more in the favor of England. It's more in the balance. You get to halftime, they come out. Italy has the ball the entire second half.
Absolutely.
Mancini made those adjustments.
I was gonna say he made a sub, right?
Mancini
made one in
he
like
came
the
in and made those
50th.
adjustments that Southgate didn't have the balls to make. Once they scored that early goal, by the way, shout out Luke Shaw, unbelievable finish.
Great finish.
Like I had chills watching that. But the PKs are a separate thing and the subs are a second thing. It's like the first time I think all tournament where Southgate really showed that he didn't have any balls. Because in my opinion, like you're talking about finals, and I think what wins you finals is you have to kind of go for it. When it's 1-1 late in the game and you're in the second half and you're bringing on Jordan Henderson, when you have Grealish on the bench, you have Sancho on the bench, you have Rashford on the bench, and then you're still sitting in and they have, what I say, it was like 75% possession.
Yeah.
The game doesn't change. You're still sitting there, sitting in the entire time, letting Italy just dictate the entire pace of the game. 100% England has more star power on their team, and they just let Italy take it to them, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I just you said something about Southgate that I thought was interesting. You were saying he didn't have balls, but I also think on the contrary, when it comes to the penalties and how the game ended, I think he had huge nuts to trust those youngsters to take those pens.
Best in practice.
But we can all agree us three probably aren't picking those same three guys, right?
I'll tell you.
If they would have came in earlier, I would have picked them.
Oh yeah.
That's
we
what I
can agree
mean.
on
Like
that
if
as well.
they would have came in and like this is the same discussion we all had. If they would have played 10, 15 minutes, got the pace of the game.
You put Rashford in at right back
I'd pick
and expect him to go put the ball in the net.
He made a hell of a defensive play though. Like for real, I was giving him some props.
Gassing him up. No, but in the Italy coach, I always butcher his name. So
Mancini.
Yeah, Mancini. But he subbed off Immobile in the 54th, and I think that's when the change happened. I think they got way more possession. And you said it in the group, who you think a superstar is, so I'll let you take it. I completely and utterly agree with you. I think the man is going to be quality for years to come.
Federico Chiesa, remember the name, because this kid is the truth.
Yeah, he was just.
And you know what's crazy? I'm not saying this is the moment I thought he was going to be a superstar, but a moment where I was like, holy cow, this kid's quality was he missed, but he won the ball in the middle of the field, beat a guy, cut in, and then he shot with his left, and it went wide right. But the power behind the shot, the movement before, the balls to take the shot from deep, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this kid's going to be a star.
He's unbelievable. He's so direct, and that's such a weapon in any team. Having a kid, he's 23 years old, in a Euro final, every time he got the ball in those 1v1s isolated, he just ran at you and beat you. He didn't care if you were Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Kyle Walker. He's like, I'm running at you, and I'm going to take you on. That's a weapon, man. That's fearlessness right there. But that kid's a star. But I think the true MVPs of that game and that team are Chiellini and Bonucci, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my God.
I was going to wait to even talk about
those two dudes are 36 and 34 years of age, and they didn't get dribbled past once in the tournament.
Yeah.
So I saw that. The only thing I will say is I saw that tweet, and the next picture under it was Bonucci grabbing Saka by the jersey after
he didn't get dribbled, though. He didn't get dribbled.
I will say that with the grabbing the jersey, if you look at like even Jose's comments and take it with a grain of salt, but like that's what you know an experienced defender though.
Yep.
Like that's what makes an experienced defender. He's saying, I don't care. You just got by me. It's 1-1 late in the game. There is no way in hell you're getting by me.
Yep.
And it's one of those. That's just experience. But it's like, who was it? You that said it? The two Spanish. Who was it? Sean that said
Sean
PK and like that's up there with like. In my opinion, with just like
best
legendary
duos.
center back pairs of all time. In my opinion,
without a doubt, completely agree.
I didn't realize that it was his first major trophy with Italy.
Both of them.
Both of them, which is and it was Chiellini's first final.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't there for the World Cup in 10.
No. 06. 06.
Oh. 06 is when they won.
Yeah, they weren't there. They weren't in the squad yet. 2010 was Spain, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I always forget about them.
I will say we do have to give Butch some props here.
Yes, of course.
Italy was his dark horse call to the tournament. And to be fair, they were the best team throughout the entire tournament.
That's where I wanted to go with it. The team that impressed me the most in the Euros as itself was obviously Italy. I think they were the most consistent. And the reason I think and just going to England because they're on the other side of it. One of the reasons I think Southgate should have been sacked was at no point in that tournament did I ever think England was playing great soccer.
Mm-hmm.
At no point. Yes, they were winning games. Yes, they were putting the ball away, but never was I once like, holy shit, they're so good. They're going to win this by a landslide. And the talent that they have on their team, that should be like that every game. They should win games 3-0.
I get it, but they also only gave up 2 goals the whole tournament.
Yes, that's true.
That's the one thing, and like that's why it's so tough with Southgate because for the majority of the tournament, he was going to receive criticism no matter what. They continued to like back and they continued to get results, and I think it really showed in the final. Just he's still missing that. You said it's not balls, but I just think he definitely got it wrong, and the fact that you play only 3 attacking players in a final with a back 5, Declan Rice
and one of them, and Mason Mount's my boy, but Mason Mount's could almost...
He's almost playing out of position.
Yeah.
He's most effective when he's got players to combine
with
him
in
the middle of the field. And
he's making runs down the wing.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, in my opinion, just watching England, not just because I bet on them, but just because the talent in that team, like, it reminded me of, like, we could have been watching, like, France.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch France the last, like, the Euros, the World Cup, like, they played pretty football.
Oh, absolutely.
And England had the stars to do that, and Southgate chose a completely different route with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so I think we've talked about it a little bit, but I think we need to specifically talk about the end of this game a little bit more.
Give some context,
Yeah,
where the game was at.
So it was 1-1 going into penalties, and I'm hoping our audience watching knows the game of football and knows that once overtime's over, you go to penalties, and each team selects 5 players. Whoever has the most goals after those 5s wins the game. So England, their 5 shooters that they had was Harry Kane. By the way, great pen.
Mm-hmm.
I think
bounced back after.
Yes,
basically he did miss. It counts as a PK miss.
2 was Harry Maguire. And boy, when that man stepped up to take that, was I like, this man's getting sacked.
Bro, I've woke up smiling.
I know.
I'm thinking about the Harry Maguire PK.
And
it broke the camera.
Bro, he smoked it. Untouchable, the best penalty probably
I've
seen
best
in a minute. Perfectly upper 90, breaks the back right corner camera. Quality stepped up. It was the first time where I was like, damn, Harry Maguire. Sheesh.
I was watching a United live stream. It was an English guy who was watching the game, and it was his reaction as Harry Maguire's like walking up, and he's even like, "What's going on?
Yeah.
What are we doing here, Gareth? Like, what's going on?" And he buries it. He's like, "Let's go!"
Yeah. Well, our chat, the Mecca of Banter, our group chat, was blowing up. Blowing up.
Everybody's like, "What?"
Fridge is coming up to take this pen, but oh my gosh, did he bury it? But so then the next three,
It was
I'm gonna
Rashford,
give
Sancho.
yeah, I'm gonna give even more context. So Rashford and Sancho didn't play. Did Sancho even get in the semi?
They were subbed in the
116th
It
minute.
was like the 119th minute.
Yes, so they were subbed on. Rashford and Sancho were both subbed on at the end of the game, out of position. Both subs were like a midfielder and a wing back, and they're both attackers. The reason behind it is obviously because they wanted them to take penalties. Now, I want to get Butch's perspective from a coach, but I think it was kind of an agreement between the Mecca. You should never have someone cold take a penalty. I want to know your thoughts on that because I know some coaches still do it. If a penalty taker is a good penalty taker, who cares in the moment? But I believe that you're not going to bring someone on for a minute of a game and then put them in a penalty, right?
That's where my thought, or that's where I would disagree with what Southgate did, is that bringing them on in the 120, they literally had 40 seconds on the field. He could have introduced them 10 minutes with 10 minutes left in OT. They get their bodies moving. Pace of the game, as Dope said before we started, they get the pace of the game down. They're a little more like locked in. They were probably nervous as hell.
Absolutely.
I mean, they knew they were coming in for a penalty.
Yes.
That's what they knew was happening. But
wasn't a surprise.
But with 40 seconds of game time, and then you're expected to go up and win the Euros, that's a lot to ask for.
And not only, they were 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So like probably the most important penalty takers of the 5. I don't know. I
think the thing for me is it's bad decisions, but the subs and bringing them in the 119th minute, but you also have to look at more of like man management. Like Rashford barely played this entire tournament.
Absolutely. Same with Sancho.
He came out and said in one of the most well-written posts I've seen that his confidence is low. Was low the entire tournament.
Oh yeah,
because he's injured.
Yep.
He hasn't been playing. That's not the moment to bring a zero confidence, hasn't been playing guy,
23-year-old
into the lineup. Like Sancho played in the quarterfinal, started, was very impactful. Like he just signed for United. He's probably on a high. Saka, who's been brilliant for the tournament. I can see both of them, but like it's terrible man management, in my opinion. And Rashford will always. He's a high character guy.
Yep.
If you ask him to take a pen, he's going to say, "I'm going to take a pen."
Absolutely.
Because that's who he is.
Yep.
But that's also where like everybody's been saying Gareth knows this group so well. He knows their ins and outs. Like to me, that's bad man management.
Yeah.
Like you can't put him in that spot. It was a decent pen too, but you can see when he walks up and you see him because he did that little pause.
Yeah, he paused for a while.
He
and I was
paused.
like, what is he doing?
And that's credit to Donnarumma because he didn't move. Most goalies will sit there and they'll go.
Yeah.
Donnarumma stood there. And so Rashford sits there and he's thinking. He picks his spot. And it's almost like he overthinks it and tried to put it too much to the corner.
Yeah, because he gets Donnarumma to jump the wrong way.
He like went left a little bit and then just went.
And then hit the post, and that's a miss. And I also think, and once again, I always butcher names, Donnarumma.
Was it Donnarumma?
Donnarumma was quality. And if I'm going up to take a penalty, he's probably one of the last goalies I would want to see with how big
He's 6'6".
and his stature.
Just intimidating.
Holy cow. And he's so passionate. He was screaming. Oh, my gosh. Very good. But, and then, of course, as you just said, Rashford ended up missing. Sancho went fourth. He ended up missing as well. Great save.
I think bigger than any of those guys missing was the Jorginho.
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So Jorginho comes up. And I'm watching it with my family and Joey. So my mom's a Chelsea fan, Joey's a Chelsea fan, and we're like, this is over.
It's a wrap.
Wrap it up. Jorginho's about to bury this penalty and win Italy the Euro. He's going to win the Ballon. I'm kidding. Oh.
The actual shouts.
Yo, I'm about to pop
I was
off.
kidding. But and Pickford made an incredible save.
He was brilliant in the
And
shootout
hit the
too.
post.
Incredible save.
You can't ask
And
more
the
for a
post.
goalie in a shootout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Jorginho missed, and then it's up to the craziest thing for me was the age of the last 3 PK takers for England. It's 23, 20, and 18.
19.
But still, oh, my bad. And so he puts up Saka, who you were right. He's had a good tournament. I still think he's overhyped, and I think Phil Foden should have played over him, and I think Grealish should have played over him.
Foden was injured.
Well, yeah. But even games before when Saka was playing, I still think Foden should have got more minutes than him. But I hope to God, because he missed, obviously we all know. It was saved. Once again, a great save. It wasn't that great of a penalty. I say a great save, but he kind of put it glove height to the left. I hope it doesn't ruin him. Because you're an 18-year-old, you're playing for your country for the first time. It's his first tournament probably with them, big major tournament, and he's the reason why they lost. I mean, of course, that's with a grain of salt, not the whole reason why he lost, but I'm just hoping mentally it does not affect him in the long run because I do see a bright future for him.
He'll be, and the thing is, he'll be back with England, and so much of like English fans, you see them blaming these 3 guys, but like, this is how pens work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jorginho missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, somebody has to miss.
Yep.
And so that's where it's like, as much as you want to blame Saka, blame the guys that missed the PK, you have 1 shot on goal in 90 minutes.
Yep.
Or, excuse me, 120 minutes. Like, that's the game right there. Like, you're a 19-year-old. It's with a Sterling, a Grealish, a Luke Shaw, these players that have had brilliant tournaments still left. And, yeah, they can't go up to Gareth and be like, no, not Saka. It needs to be me. Like, that's what Roy Keane was saying. You just take the ball from him.
That's what
I respect Gareth for having the trust in him, but that's another man management situation where he's like, Gareth missed a big PK for England.
Yeah.
He has still to this day said it hasn't let him down. And then he puts a 19-year-old in that position.
That's what I'm saying. I just think as a coach, I will never blame those 3. Rashford, Sancho. You can never blame them.
Ever.
For them to have the stones to take it, mad respect. You guys are ballers. This is all on the manager. I was thinking about this driving here. Okay. Saka may have gone 50 for 50 in training. I don't care how good he was at PKs in training. You don't stick a 19-year-old kid who's never taken a PK in his senior career and you don't put him 5th. You put your damn captain 5th. Let Harry Kane be the one that settles it. The guy that's had all the experience in these tournaments and scored 300 goals in his career, put his ass 5th. You don't put a 19-year-old who's never done one last. That's all man management, and he got it wrong. He's going to have to learn from this. As you said, you were saying Southgate should be sacked and stuff.
100%.
Like, Southgate is really going to have to go reflect on the decisions he made, and he's going to have to take a look in the mirror and say, I got it wrong with my selection, and he's got to move on, man.
I just think, imagine being 19.
No,
but listen,
freshman in college.
There's 70,000 people at the game. So I looked at the audience stats of like the Euros. At the most the Euros peaked was in PKs. There was 8 million people watching. What were we doing at 19 years old, dude? I was at Quincy University partying my face off, dude. This man is 19 years old stepping up with the weight of a country on his back. Like, Absolutely. He missed, but I fucking hate Arsenal. But I'll give Saka more credit than anything because to have the stones to go up there and do that with all those people watching, he deserves praise just for that.
He does. 100. That's why you can't blame him.
Yeah.
It's all on Southgate, man.
Oh,
you got it wrong.
And you mentioned the Roy Keane thing. I kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. One thing that, and we'll talk about his quote, but kind of going off of it. One thing that blew my mind was Sterling. So this entire tournament, our Mecca has been blowing up about why is Sterling playing? Why is Southgate playing Sterling? The man scores some goals. He gets some assists. He has an okay tournament, I think. I think he's awful, but you can't deny that he won them some games. The man plays 120 minutes. You don't sub him, which I think is the dumbest thing you can do. He's playing an attacking position that you want him to score goals, right? So he has trust in Raheem Sterling to score goals and win them the game, right? It comes down to penalties where the main goal of a penalty is to put it in the back of the net, and he isn't. He was 7th, right? I'm pretty sure I looked it up. Raheem Sterling was 7th.
Yeah, Southgate was, so Grealish was 6th.
Yeah, so so do you trust him or do you not? I just think I was mind blown by that. And
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, trusting a 19-year-old to shoot 5 over a guy like Sterling, who
and to be honest, I don't even want Sterling taking a pen.
Grealish.
Or Grealish, dude.
So,
or Pickford. Give Pickford the ball. That dude can smash a pen, I bet.
I don't
Bro,
know,
there's
bro.
some
If Harry
Luke
Maguire
Shaw-
can bury a pen like that, anybody can bury a pen, bro.
Oh, bro. Yeah, to an
No.
extent. But what was I going to say? So I want to go back to the Roy Keane thing. So Roy Keane, for some of you who don't know, I might want to just pull it up so he says it word for word. Basically what he was saying was if he's Grealish, Shaw, Henderson, or Sterling, and veterans of this England side and veterans of the game of football, you can't let an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 23-year-old take a pen over you. He was saying that he would have gone up, grabbed the ball, and told Southgate, I'm taking a pen over him. Now, one thing that I thought was really interesting about this whole thing was Grealish's response. This makes me think that there's some tension between Grealish and Southgate.
There simply has to be.
Has to be. There's no other reason behind it. But pretty much Grealish came out and said, I'm not one to usually talk or respond to stuff like this. He was like, the Gaffer made the right decisions all tournament and the right decisions tonight, but I told him I wanted to take a pen. So this notion of me not taking one over Saka is false, pretty much. And I thought that was really interesting because he's pretty much just going against his coach right then and there.
Guys, how do you choose Saka over Grealish?
I don't think he's necessarily going against his manager right there. I just think he wanted people to know that he had the stones to say, I want a pen. Like
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that being you and like everybody's sitting there saying that you didn't want a pen. You know what I mean? You're reading in the media, clearly everybody's on social media.
Well, yeah, of course.
Everybody's sitting there saying Grealish didn't want to step up and take a pen. I would probably say something too. And I think he said it in the best way possible where he's like,
Yeah.
Gareth made so many good decisions this tournament. Like,
But did he?
until the final, and he got him there, until the first major final in 55 years.
Yeah, and I've been saying I want him sacked, I want him out, but you brought up a good point when we were talking about the other day. It is the first time they've been to a final in 51 years, is it?
55.
So 55 years. So, I mean, well, do I think he's going to be sacked? Probably not.
I'm more mad. It's coming home thing is cool. It's like fun to listen to the songs. I don't want to do it again for another major tournament. Like, it was like, let's get it over with.
Hey, World Cup, USA, baby.
Oh, God. It's like we're going to, like, literally next year, it's going to be like the build-up. It's like, we made it to the final last year. It's coming home now.
So
It's like,
that's
fuck off. You guys haven't won a major tournament in, what, 70 years?
Yeah. And so that's where why I think he should be sacked now is because I'm nervous for them for the World Cup now. He's still going to be their manager for the World Cup, and he's going to get the World Cup's pretty much washed now. Throw it away.
I read something that said it was some like England fan saying, fire Gareth and appoint Wenger.
Oof.
Could you imagine?
Yo, that'd be kind of lit.
That's what I'm saying. You kind of trust him with like those players.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was dealing with scrubs at like his late Arsenal years. Imagine him with that England team.
I was about to say, the fact that you just said that, if JP is listening to this right now, he is so happy that you just said that. He would be crying if that happened. But, okay, so moving past England and Italy, great final. We all think Southgate got it wrong, yada, yada, yada. I want to talk about some of the other teams in the Euros because we do have the World Cup coming up, and I think this is kind of not a crazy preview, but it gives us a little bit of idea of what's going to happen in the future. Teams that disappointed in the Euros.
Okay.
For me, I think it's obvious. It was the team that I picked to win.
Same.
France.
Let us down.
Very much so let us down. I thought Pogba had a great tournament. I thought Benzema was quality at times.
4 goals? What do you have, 4 goals?
Conte was playing well, but there was just something defensively that was off with them. They were allowing shit goals. And it's funny because Varane's linked to United right now. I was not impressed with Varane, and I've been on Varane's like good side for a very long time, saying he's going to be a quality center back for years to come, but I think he disappointed me the most out of all the players on France with lack of leadership, lack of I just think there's things that in a defensive side of the game, marking up, making sure your marks are accounted for, all that stuff that a leader in the back four needs to step up and do, and I don't think he was doing that. And I think
a lot of it is also the France stepped on the field thinking they had it won.
True.
They stepped on the field, and to be honest, they could probably step on most fields.
A little bit of arrogance.
Yeah, have some arrogance. But I think this is gonna be the best thing for France because it's not like they're going anywhere.
No.
True.
They got this humbling. They know they got to take it serious. It's like, I mean, going 3 in a row is possible, but right now, like, I was pissed because it was all possible. I had Benzema as my golden boot winner. I had Pogba as my player of the tournament. And France to win.
If France
Up until they lost, it was like such a possibility. And I literally bet on all of them, too.
If France beats Switzerland, I think they win the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And
it's Switzerland.
I know, of all teams. But another one that I wanted to mention, another disappointment that I had was Portugal.
Absolutely.
That was mine.
Okay, and you can expand on that if you want. But
I was going to say Portugal, and I'm just going to say I called it. I said they weren't going to do much in the tournament, but all I'm saying is Cristiano Ronaldo, yes, he scored 5 goals and whatever.
6.
Okay, he had 5 goals in the tournament, whatever. All right, but the cohesion in the team was non-existent. Some of the decisions that were made by the manager didn't understand, and we can get more into Bruno a little bit here because I know Dove's going to talk about it. Bruno starts the first game and then doesn't start for the rest of the tournament, comes in for some cameos off the bench, and he was Manchester United's best player, their MVP. Relying on a 36-year-old Ronaldo to carry you isn't going to work out well.
Nope.
So they let us down. Defensively, they were not very good.
Diaz had a very average tournament.
Diaz was average. Pepe, obviously, he's old, man. He's 38 years old, but he wasn't very good.
You know who I think their best player was?
Ronaldo
Sanchez.
That's the one.
Agree.
That's the
By a
one.
mile.
Oh, yeah.
100%. That's the one good thing that Portugal can take out of this is that they've got a stud in midfield for years to come.
Yeah.
Because he just showed again in a big tournament that he can do it. But they just weren't it. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a Portugal guy, so I was happy to see them. Not
I think
do
we
well,
all were.
But they did not impress us.
I thought it was really interesting because, and we all agree that they didn't have that good of a tournament. The last Euros, they won, obviously, but the talent compared to the last Euros to now on their team that they had this previous one is night and day.
Yeah.
The team that just played in the Euros this year, the talent was crazy. I thought, like, oh my gosh, they're going to be really good. Where do you think it goes wrong? Is it the same coach? I need to look it up. I don't know if it's the
Fernando
same coach
Santos
from Euro to Euro, but like where does that? Do you think it's the Ronaldo age, or do you think?
In my opinion, I think it's like you look at a team like Italy, and I think in these major tournaments, what means I wouldn't say more than anything is like you have to there's cohesion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a group of players all around one goal. Every single player for Italy played this tournament.
Yep.
And the 23, every single player touched the
goalie
field.
came on. Yeah,
they all knew their different roles they had to play. And with watching Portugal, it seemed like there was a lot of different individual moments where people were just – because they were chasing the game a lot of times, where Ronaldo tried to do too much. Bruno tried to do too much a lot. Bernardo Silva was absent the entire time. Like, Jota was very average. But they would all get the ball.
Some of those names you just said.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
It's like I'm naming superstars.
Yeah.
They would get the ball and they would try to do these individual moments of brilliance. And a lot of times in tournaments, that's not going to win you
Absolutely
games.
No, not at all. Very underperforming.
Absolutely. And so, on the flip side of teams that disappointed us, teams that impressed us, one that I think we have to mention is Denmark.
Absolutely.
Cinderella
Cinderella story.
story, and not only that. I think they should have won the semi. Shit penalty call. Awful penalty call.
Yeah, it's bad.
To lose them the semi.
It was a Sterling special.
But I just shout out to Denmark. I wanted to touch on them a little bit. The story behind it all. We talked about in the last podcast with Christian Eriksen. I believe he's still doing well, so still prayers to him for a speedy recovery. I hope he comes back on the pitch in the future, but we'll see on that. But they impressed me. It wasn't like a fluke them getting to the semis. I thought they were playing really good soccer, and they had players step up and play well.
I will tell you, I guess, I don't want to say like they have a bright future and like they're going to do some damage.
Of course
Well,
not.
I'm just saying, one for me is Sweden. Sweden won their group over Spain.
They're good.
Like they had 7 points in their group. Like I'm not going to say they're going to be world beaters, but they definitely impressed me a lot more this year. without Zlatan, but they had some players that stepped up and played very well in some big moments. Victor Lindelof's still a fucking donkey, but they stepped up and they played some good soccer.
Mine is biased, and it's coming. But Spain.
What impressed
Out of here. What impressed you?
What impressed you about them is
Thiago?
Pedri, period.
Yeah.
Luis Enrique took a team that has basically none of the superstars of the past to the semifinals.
Thiago's not a superstar?
Brother, we're talking about Xavi, Iniesta,
Biscuits.
all these guys that are gone, and he took them to the semifinals.
Is Morata not a superstar to you, Butch?
Bruv.
Juve.
Bruv. Dude.
Bro, you were gassing him up
Yeah, Morata.
all week.
Hey,
Is he a superstar?
Yo, Morata till I die, dude. You know.
Unreal.
No,
you want to talk about a cap?
Yo, but guys, like you got to understand, like Luis Enrique had a plan. Okay,
To not play Thiago.
Bruv. He left out.
Thiago with his cameos in like the 100.
Yeah, you were talking about
minute.
cameos.
Yeah.
You're talking about Bruno.
Bro,
Thiago was worse.
he left out the biggest leader the country's ever had in Sergio Ramos.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't take him to the tournament. They still made the semifinals
You think
over
that's cutting
Belgium.
it? You picked them
and
to win.
France.
You picked them to win.
Who's
I
their-
did, and they almost got to the final.
Who's their future number 9?
Morata, man.
You knew.
Morata.
The fact that I was working and I couldn't watch that pen, but when I saw Morata
Bro,
miss the
I was
pen,
dying.
I had nothing
He
in
was
that
with
game.
me.
I had
Yo,
no-
but how about
I
the
was
goal?
with- I was
We
in
were
the
watching it
basement.
together.
Yo, how about the goal though? He scored a
Okay,
nice
it
goal.
was a great goal,
Yeah,
but it
good
was
goal.
the most Morata fashion where he could shut every hater up and make the pen, and he fucking missed it, man.
And we were talking shit on Thiago. He did have a quality pen.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit.
Hey, how
Quality pen
good,
from
guys? Can we
Thiago.
please talk about Pedri?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Future Ballon d'Or winner, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree.
How much does he look like Iniesta? It's unbelievable. His movement, his passes, his
Go bald.
intelligence.
What was
Bro.
his passing percentage? Wasn't it like it was like 100%?
So let
He
me,
went
yeah.
90.
He went 28.
He played the
28, right?
whole entire semifinal against Italy. This kid's 18, by the way.
Plays for
he-
Barca.
Plays for Barcelona until the 118th minute of the game. He had 100% pass accuracy. Like 70 passes completed
Unreal.
of 70. And then in the 118th minute, he misplaces his first pass. It was like a 5-yarder that he misplaced.
Unreal.
How sick.
And I don't know the exact quote, but Luis Enrique praised the crap out of him afterwards.
He
right?
literally
was pretty-
said, he goes, what you guys have just witnessed from young Pedri, you have never seen in Spanish football, not even from Don Andres Iniesta.
Bro, 18 though. Like
18 years old. Yeah.
Just think, this kid's got 6-7 more tournaments ahead of him, and what he's done at 18 makes you scared. At what's he going to do at 28?
I know.
Hopefully he's injury free.
Hopefully.
you
But
hope.
he's going to, as Dope said, this kid could win a Ballon d'Or someday, man.
I totally agree. And as much as we've been dogging Spain, and I don't think they impressed, like you say,
Whatever.
Pedri, I will admit, was probably the best player of the tournament, honestly.
Team of the tournament.
But the thing with Spain is, it like when you're watching Spain, it was a lot of passes with little purpose.
No, you're
Yeah.
right.
It was like,
And sometimes,
I mean, it's the Spain way they play. They like the tiki taka, but to me, it was like when you don't have a solid number 9, like Morata is not going to get in behind most teams. He just doesn't have that pace. And when you play with him as a 9, it's a lot of passes, and you get to that final third, and there was nobody really unlocking, at least in the semifinal, nobody really to unlock that final crucial ball to get them in that they've always had in the past.
They're just missing
Yeah.
that little spark in the box to score. That's what they're missing, man.
So you're sticking with Morata. But, okay, we don't buy that.
Bro.
You get rid of him, who would you want to see at 9?
Well,
for
that's
Spain
the thing.
in
It's like
future?
right now in the line of players that they have, there's really not a lot of pure number 9s.
Mhm.
So Morata is going to go to the World Cup. He's going to go to the future tournaments.
How old is Morata?
He's 28.
When's his birthday?
He's in October. You can look it up. But one guy that I really love, who I thought was decent, he had good moments and not so good moments, is Ferran Torres to Manchester City.
Yes.
He's a future star, and he can play as a 9. But the problem with him is he doesn't have the size. So you put him up against Chiellini, Bonucci, what's going to happen?
Eaten alive.
He's going to get eaten alive, right? So Spain's biggest problem right now is they have to figure out who's going to be the most consistent number 9. I'm still sticking with Morata right now.
Such a cat. Okay, you didn't mention him, and I wanted you to mention him. But the person I thought that also played well for Spain was Azpilicueta.
He was good.
I
when
thought he
came
was
in.
very consistent. Typical Azpilicueta. He scored a goal for you guys.
He just had to guys the Chelsea player.
Absolutely.
How about Koke, too?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
brilliant, man.
Dobes and I love Koke.
I
We were
love
talking
Koke.
about him. He was really good all tournament. But,
Should we go through the team of the tournament?
yeah.
Yeah,
I got it
absolutely.
pulled up if we want to.
I think we should go through the team of the tournament, and we got to say what we would change because there's a few things that I would definitely change about.
Okay, read it off for us.
Okay, so goalie Donnarumma, right back Walker, 2 center backs Bonucci paired with Maguire, left back Spinazzola, your 3 midfielders Højbjerg, Jorginho, Pedri. Your front 3 is Chiesa, Lukaku, and Raheem Sterling.
I've got 2 that I would change
Raheem
right
Sterling.
away. Right away. Maybe 3.
I have.
Who wants to go first?
All right, I'll go first. Paul Pogba.
For who?
I would
Højbjerg.
Højbjerg,
Okay.
and then
Patrick Schick's my 9.
I was gonna say him and Sterling needs to go. I'm just trying to think of who
Yeah,
needs to
but
replace him.
see, this tournament he earned it. Like I am completely fine with Sterling. My one thing is I do feel bad for Spinazzola for getting hurt. Luke Shaw had an absolute unbelievable tournament.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if
another
he
one I
got
was gonna say.
robbed, but I think he easily could have been there.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about Lukaku?
So that's one of the ones I would
What do you
change.
think? Who would you put there?
I'd put Schick.
yeah, same.
Patrick Schick.
Yeah, I mean, based on the tournament, absolutely.
He was phenomenal, and he's 25, and this was his first big tournament. Czech Republic, a team that you would probably label as one that's not gonna
yeah,
do much,
took him to the.
took him to the
Quarters.
quarterfinals, and
Yeah.
he scored 5 goals.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm trying to. Ronaldo. I'm shocked Ronaldo's not on there.
He did,
Well,
And that leading goal scorer.
they didn't. They
but
don't.
he didn't-
He didn't make it that far.
yeah, and he didn't really like his goals did, but his play.
Was
But
it
see,
2
what you're
pens?
about to say is what I think about Sterling. Yeah, he scored goals, but
Yeah,
his-
but
played in-
Sterling most games was arguably their most dangerous player.
Even
As much
when
as
he-
trust me, it pains me to say
I
that.
don't agree.
It's facts.
Every time he had the ball in the box, he either dribbled it out of bounds or dove.
But when you're also comparing to the other guys he had in the field,
I know.
here's the thing the reason, in my opinion, that Sterling played so much, and it is what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. But like when you look at the final, Harry Kane dropped so deep to find the ball that they needed somebody like Sterling that can run in behind and make those runs, and it just didn't happen. But Sterling had been doing it all tournament.
Mhm.
So I don't fault him for being. I mean, he scored goals. He drew the pen. He's been there for big moments. That's the guy you want in those games.
Yep. The other one I would change. This is my second one. I think Højbjerg was great.
He was great.
He was phenomenal for Denmark. However, I don't think he was better than this person, and that's Marco Verratti.
Interesting.
I think Marco Verratti was phenomenal.
Interesting. I think he got overshadowed by how good of a tournament Jorginho had because Verratti was good.
I can see it. Verratti had, he missed the first game or two. I think he was injured, and then he came in and played almost every minute of the tournament, and he had the most chances created on Italy in the Euro. He might have been top 2 or 3 in the whole tournament, and he
He's
missed
special.
2 games. That itself right there, like imagine if he plays the first 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a phenomenal player, and I think he really showed the world that, he's in his prime. He means business right now. He ain't screwing around, bro.
And another. I definitely think Donnarumma deserves.
That's a lock.
Goalkeeper, but I wanted to give a shout out to Sommer because I thought he.
Oh, Swiss guy.
Yeah,
I thought
he was bomb.
incredible.
Yeah, he
because
was the bomb.
Donnarumma plays on a team on Italy and he's probably not getting as much shots. And Sommer was standing on his head against France and saving those pens. I was hats off to him. I know they didn't make it that far, and it's a lock for Donnarumma, but I think he
Pickford was
deserves-
great too. By the way,
absolutely.
Pickford had a good tournament.
That's one of those. It's like England wins the final. Like Pickford's probably in the team of the tournament.
Mhm.
Like giving up 2 goals
Yeah.
the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Saving 2 PKs.
I love how none of us wanted to take out Chiesa because we just know
No, he-
how good he is.
absolutely.
What
No,
I'm saying?
he had a great tournament. I think he's quality.
What are your guys' thoughts on this Italy team as far as next? I mean, the World Cup's next year.
They're gonna do the same. They're gonna go far.
They haven't lost in what was it?
33
33 games.
I agree. I think they're gonna find a lot of success. in upcoming tournaments with the squad that they have right now.
When you have a coach like Mancini, a superstar genius coach, you always have a chance to
And I think it's a little bit different in the club side of it, but just specifically international, the center back pairing. We've talked about this a couple of times.
It's absolutely huge.
And not only the fact, like, we can all agree they're probably not the two best center backs in the world anymore, just based on age, but the experience and the chemistry between center backs and an international team is everything. And I think if they continue to be decent, they don't even have to be spectacular. If they're just decent and can play together, I think they'll go far again.
You can almost plug in, and you saw it with Emerson when Spinazzola got hurt. You can almost plug in a wingback that is halfway competent, and they can.
I thought Emerson played well.
But he's no Spinazzola.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
Crazy,
but I
bro.
thought when he came on and had to perform,
he did well.
I thought he played well.
He was decent. But like that core, and that's one of the reasons I think England will continue to be successful, because Stones and Maguire, you could argue that like Stones could be over Bonucci for team of the tournament.
Absolutely. I just read, I looked up team of the tournament, and this was some person just putting theirs together, and he had Stones over Maguire.
Yeah.
And I was like,
they both
could
were.
have. Absolutely. Either of them could have. And once again, that goes back to what you were saying. If England wins, they probably are.
But Italy with the spine of like Jorginho and Verratti I can't believe you didn't even mention, like, Jorginho was easily up for
Player
playing
of
the
the tournament.
tournament.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I think he was quality. I think it also helped that he got a lot of minutes under Tuchel, I think, because I think when Frank had him, he wasn't getting enough playing time, and I think his confidence has just risen ever since then. He just won the Champions League. He just won the Euro final. I'm very excited for him next year to see what he can do. What was I totally forgot where I was going with that one. But him missing the penalty really hurt. I really wanted him to score the penalty. I don't think that takes away from his tournament at all. But I mean, it would have been the icing. It would have been the icing on the top. I would have been. That's the first thing I would have said when I came on the podcast.
Like it's a stupid question, but I guess it's maybe not. If he scores, is he play the tournament?
Yes, I think so. I truly believe so.
Like if Donnarumma doesn't save Saka's PK,
and Jorginho buries his, and it's only 2 instead of 3.
You might be right.
It would have been back-to-back PK shootouts where he won it.
That's wild.
You know, so it could have been. It could have swung his way, but this whole Italy team's going to the World Cup next year.
Yep.
That's why they're going to be scary, because they're already scary. No, they're not losing anybody unless Chiellini comes out and says, "I'm going to retire," which probably won't happen.
He won't.
So like,
just wonder, man.
Yeah, like they're all coming back. So we as international soccer fans, like, we should put them on our pedestal of those who are the favorites to win the World Cup.
And you could almost have to do the same for Argentina.
Yeah, as we said, if Messi's there, they got a shot.
Okay, and real quickly, this is the last thing I want to talk about in the Euros. One team that we haven't even mentioned that I wanted to talk about was Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you were saying it a little bit with Chile. I think it's starting to happen with Belgium. Their core players are starting to get up in age, and I think Euros was one of the last opportunities they had to make a long run. I think they're going to do it in the World Cup, and they're going to probably make a nice little run. But then after that,
it's over. Like this,
I know.
Next summer's it.
I feel bad.
Here's the thing: is like, even when we get to the World Cup, and this is like so hypothetical, but if they get a favorable group, it's like
it's crazy how much groups matter.
It 100%.
Look at England and hit their road to the final.
100% matters. It's like that's why they're aging. Like next year, I wouldn't necessarily say favorite just because their performance at this Euros, but they definitely still have a shot to do some damage. Like when you have Kevin De Bruyne on your team, you have a shot to do.
I think it's now. Like this is it.
Absolutely.
No,
next summer you better go for it.
It is the last straw for them. Like De Bruyne and Hazard are now both 30 years old. Witzel's 32. These guys are Vertonghen's 34.
Yep.
Vermaelen's 35.
Yep.
Courtois almost 29. Like they're getting old.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have to understand, like, they need to get in that locker room next summer and be like, all right, guys.
And
like,
Belgium doesn't have this abundant amount of superstar players.
How good is that Doku, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, he is quality.
Bro,
yes.
he's 19, dude.
Oh my goodness.
He might be the most
so
powerful from a stopping point, like to a start player I've seen.
He reminds me a little bit of when Adama Traore was really good.
Oh my God, Doku's he's a guy who could be a breakout star at the World Cup.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Alrighty, factor cap time, Butchie.
All right, I think I just have to say it because of the Euros. It's pretty obvious. Factor cap, episode number 3.
Que pasa? Come on, chat. You ready?
All right, chat.
Let's go.
My factor cap: Gareth Southgate will not be managing England at the World Cup a year from now.
Cap.
I need some reason though.
My reason being is I've said this whole entire episode on the fact that he got some decisions wrong. I do think the fact that the Euros is in 2021 and not 2020 plays a factor in that, because nobody knows this group of players better than Gareth does because he spent so much time with them.
Mm-hmm.
The World Cup is next December.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be smart if you're England to fire him or relieve him of his duties, whatever you want to say, with basically like a year and a half left to go and kind of rebuild a project, necessarily bring in different players. Because if you think about it, like the team they have, Rashford's getting a year older, Sancho's getting a year older, Saka's going to be a year older. The core of that team, Jude Bellingham, Calvin Phillips, like Declan Rice, Mason Mount, that entire team is youth.
Young.
And Gareth made some mistakes, and I just don't see the fact that he got them to the first final in 55 years that they could ever get rid of him right now.
So, do I think he should? Hell no, he should not be coaching the World Cup next year. That's just my opinion. Will he? I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a weird way for me to have reasoning behind it, but I literally think it's the media. The way that the media has been portraying. I was expecting to get on Twitter and social media after that game and see everyone coming for his head.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, they're getting after him.
It was like 50-50 with what I saw.
But I'm talking more of even like the mainstream, like the announcer or the England. They went to Rio Ferdinand after the game, and Rio was like, "Oh yeah, he did. He had a great tournament. The coach got us to the final." He was saying exactly what you're saying. I know, and I think that portrayal is throughout the media right now, and I have a feeling that he's not going to. And Dobes brought up a really good point. The World Cup is right around the corner. It's not like it's 2 years away and you have time.
If you had an extra year to build a team and style.
Well, see, with England, it's not even. See, I'm almost England and Chelsea. You bring in the talent is there. England has the talent. When we had Frank, we had the talent, and the way we were playing wasn't right. Yeah, we were winning games here and there, but we weren't doing anything crazy. When Tuchel came in, he immediately put it in. I think almost a change in manager for England could be a spark to motivate them, because
the difference is you only get 2 weeks, a week max with.
You're definitely right, but if you're a player and you're thinking, I said this back when Frank was fired, when you're a player and your coach gets fired, that's on you. Like, yeah, your coach has a big reason, but like you're at the end of the day, the players aren't winning him games. So I would take it personally. If my coach got fired, I would be like, holy shit, I need to step my shit up. And then when the new guy comes in, you're trying to impress him, you're trying to play better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it could be beneficial for them, but do I think it's going to happen? No. So I think it's a cap.
For the first time in Mecca of Banter history, folks, I'm going to cap myself.
Oh, what do you mean first time?
And
you're a big cap.
No, hold
Keep
up.
going.
Yo. What I mean is we're all in agreement. I actually think it's a cap too. And basically what Dobes had said, like, I think it's too close to the World Cup. I would love Arsene Wenger though.
Oh
England.
my
That'd
God!
be
Once you said that, I was like, oh.
But I do think Gareth will be there. However, if they do something similar, he's for sure. That is the last straw. Like if he does another Euro or World Cup run and then something happens where he gets his tactics wrong again, it'll be it.
I would hope.
One thing with England though is like, and I don't want to necessarily give like Gareth credit for this, but like when you look at these England teams that are on rival clubs, like these dudes have formed like they're all, at least how they portray themselves to the media, good ass dudes.
Yeah.
No matter how young they are, this group played for each other. You see Jordan Henderson like leading this veteran group of players. Like he's almost kind of an extension of Southgate in a little bit. It's like, but these guys, like they lost on pens. But that was the most together I've seen
Oh,
in
absolutely.
England group in years.
Well, yeah, and people have talked about this multiple times. Back in the day, it was clubs hated each
Yeah.
other. They freaking hated each other. And nowadays, that's not so much the case
Yeah.
anymore. And I'm hoping that will help England in the long run, but we shall see.
Yeah.
One thing, I know we usually end with Factor Cap, but I actually wanted to mention one thing because I don't think we ever mentioned it on the Mecca of Banter. As all of you know, Ryan Butchart is the coach of the men's varsity soccer team at Lafayette, and he's also the assistant coach of the women's varsity soccer team. And last May, or the May of this year, his girls' team won the district final. It was Butch's first district final as a coach,
Yeah.
and I wanted to say congratulations to you, brother.
Appreciate you, my
With a Gatorade Player of
Appreciate
the
you,
Year.
my boy.
With the
With
Gatorade.
the Gatorade
All-American,
Player of the
yeah.
Year.
Yes, so
Thank you, man.
shouts to you. That's the first of many. Any of the listeners out there don't know, Lafayette has one of the best coaches in the state. So
Appreciate
Watch
you,
out.
brother. Appreciate you.
all righty. That's a
Hot
wrap.
take. Hot take.
Oh.
Hot take. You're gonna see Verona United this fall.
Stop the cat!
All right, we're out on that one.
All right. Peace and love, man.
Peace.